Alright, welcome everybody to another educational lesson. If you're new, welcome. We're getting into this one. We're continuing on with the book Huna, the Cry of the Huna. And we're going to be getting into a lot of things because what they did was they cut off the branches so you wouldn't even know that there's a tree, and that tree leads to everything, all the answers you're looking for. And as long as you keep that tree separated and that history challenged, believed to be fake, then you ain't never gonna understand what you're supposed to do. So we're getting into this book and just showing a bunch of branches that connects to other branches of other families throughout the world. So here we go, we're gonna get to it. Sorry about that. Alright, so let's just get into it. Gonna be interesting. Alright, so we're gonna start off from where we left off. Yeah. Mistress was Haumea in the way she lived. She lived with her grandchildren. She slept with her children. She slept with her child Kabakahi and his wife Kauaimehani. Slept with her grandchild Kawa Huli Honua and his wife Huli Honu. Slept with her grandchild Haloa and his wife Hinamanolua. Slept with her grandchild Vaya and his wife Uhene. Slept with her grandchild Hinanalo and his wife Haunu'u. Slept with her grandchild Nanakahili and his wife Hualani. Slept with her grandchild Vailoa and his wife Hikapuanea. Ki'o was born. Haumea was recognized. Haumea was seen to be shriveled. So you guys gotta understand, these is chants. So these are chants that they're deciphering, and this is what the chants are saying. Yeah? Okay. So that's why it seems weird. A lot of stuff that Hawaiians did were chants and poems. The poems were I'll get into that. Let's just get on with this. Haumea was seen to be shriveled, cold, and undesirable. The woman was in fact gone sour, hard to deal with and crabbed, unsound, a fraud, half blind, a woman generations old, wrinkled behind, wrinkled before, bent and gray the breast, worthless was Naumea. She lived licentiously, bore children like a dog. With Keo came forth the chiefs. So Keo's descendants were the chief line. He slept with Kamole, with the woman of the woodland. Born was Ole. So Keo and Kamole had Ole. He had a wife named Hai. So now it's Ole and Hai are married. Now let's go into the genealogies, which is called Na Mo'o Kua'auhau. Kua'auhau. Yeah, so Na Mo'o Kua'auhau. It's called genealogies. So the most important thing to Hawaiians was genealogies. One person could recite 2,000 years of their forefathers in genealogies. That was the most important thing. If you didn't know your genealogy, you couldn't rule. So if you were a ruler, a chief, you wouldn't, or a priest, you wouldn't be able to do your duties unless you could recite 2,000 years, at least 1,000 years of your genealogy. The older the better. They had to prove who they were. And they couldn't just make up. They had to have people. If you could recite 2,000 years of genealogy, and you heard somebody breaking out names that wasn't his family, you would be able to put it together. You'd be like, no, that's not true. Or some, but it's some amazing. 2,000 years, poems, history, everything is recorded and could be recited at given will. So let's get to it. It is critical here for those who wish to indulge in the practice or study of ancestral spirituality of the ancient world to understand why individual names that represent one generation in descending time indicate in some instances the people of the ancient world lived for as long as 6 to 9. Here, this is the one that's deep because this coincides with the Old Testament. You know how a lot of our forefathers in the beginning, they lived hundreds of years until the Creator put a ban on their life around 125. So people don't live very long after 125. So to understand why individual names that represent one generation in descending time indicate that in some instances the people of the ancient world lived for as long as 6 to 900 years of age. Such an understanding is necessary in order to bring about an acceptable timeline from generation to generation that can fit like a ladder of time down into the descending history of the world as we know it today, without being labeled merely native mythology. So you know how they like to label us mythology, and then what they do is they say if Hawaiians had disappeared, they would have been just like the Mayans. See, we were over 1 million people, and we went down to 40,000. They tried to, but they couldn't. But if they were able to enslave all of us and kill the rest, or if they were able to kill all of us with the bioweapons, then they would have been saying the same thing. Oh, the Hawaiians went with the aliens. Who are the Hawaiians? And they'll show the Mongoloid pictures. This is them. Just like they do. Alright. We need to realize that in ancient genealogies, a multitude of individual lives in accumulation were represented by one individual name and portrayed as life of one person through hereditary deification of life rotating back from death. One might call it reincarnation, but not in the usual sense of the word, as this was the constant return of the first Amaku into descending generations. So what he's saying is that, you know how you may look like your grandfather or your great grandpa, and then you look like your grandson. How you guys look the same, like, oh, you look just like your grandpa, you're so handsome. That's kind of like what it means. Like, we're just a rebirth of our first ancestor, of our family lines. Alright, let's go. As this was the constant return of the first